Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I am going live on a couple platforms today. So I am live on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. So I want to welcome you guys all into um, the grocery store tour. So I thought I would do this virtually because I used to do this all the time with Bodies by Cindy, if you knew me back in the day. So I'm excited for you to join me tonight for this live virtual grocery store tour. So whether you're navigating health goals, fighting inflammation, supporting your immune system, or you're just trying to keep your fridge stocked with better ideas, this live session is for you. So today we're going to talk all about how to shop smart. I always tell my patients to stay on the perimeter. So we're going to talk about the perimeter principle, how to read food labels, when organic really matters and when it may not matter, and then how to keep your sugar intake in check, why even healthy processed foods might be hurting your health, and my exact system for what I give my patients for grocery shopping, especially in cancer prevention. So let's dive in. Also, if you have any questions, leave them. You can put them in the feeds. I will see them. I'm monitoring on all platforms, so I will see them. But I love to hear questions. And then if you have something off topic, leave it in the messages as well. And if it's something that we can chat about on another live, I'm happy to do so. So, what you're going to find on the perimeter, it's going to be all the healthy stuff. So, it's the produce section, it's the refrigerated foods, it's the meat and the seafood section, eggs and dairy, and then sometimes your bulk grains and frozen fruit. What you'll find inside the aisles is mostly boxed, bags, processed, and preserved foods. So, I want you to ask yourself, did this come from the earth or from a lab? And this is one that I talk about a lot. Can I actually pronounce the ingredients? If you cannot pronounce every ingredient, you probably don't want it in your body. Does it expire in less than 10 days? If yes, that's usually a good sign. One of my pro tips is do not shop hungry. Always bring a list, be prepared. And then remember that when you're shopping hungry, you're going to tend to probably go for the more carbier foods. So just remember to eat a little protein rich snack before you go grocery shopping. Okay, so let's dive into the produce section. Something that I used to go over all the time was organic versus non organic because I know that it gets really expensive. And we want to make sure that we are using the money wisely and we don't want to spend it on something that's not necessary. So, the difference of organic equals no synthetic pesticides, herbicides, GMOs, or artificial fertilizers. Conventional equals often sprayed and it may contain pesticide residues. So there's a thing called the dirty dozen versus the clean 15. The dirty dozen, always buy organic. Think strawberries, spinach, kale, apples, grapes. They have the highest pesticide residue. Also, tomatoes. Tomatoes are really high in that as well. So be careful in that. Some of the clean 15, safe to buy, conventional if needed, avocados, pineapple, onions, sweet corn, usually anything that you would have to like dig inside to get is usually going to be more of your cleaner 15. If budget is tight, go for organic leafy greens and berries. I love to get the organic kale. I get home and I freeze it, and that way it doesn't go bad. And we do freeze a lot of our vegetables. And anytime that I'm making a smoothie, I just dump my kale inside the blender, and it's great because it's already cold. And I know that I'm not wasting my money because it's going to go bad so fast. So, in a lot of, you'll notice it when you do buy organics as well, they're not going to go bad as fast as the ones that are ridden with pesticides. All right. So a lot of people ask me, and this was one of the questions that I got this week, what to look for on the codes. If you've ever looked at your produce, there's actually like a label on there, and it's going to be a barcode. They're called the PLU codes, starting with 9 equals organic. Starting with 4, it means it's conventional. 8 means it's genetically modified. You don't see that as often, but definitely avoid if you see it. Okay, so again, 9 means organic, 8 means genetically modified, 4 means conventional. Okay, so we definitely want to look for the 9, especially on the Dirty Dozen. Reading food labels. Okay, so a lot of my cancer patients have been asking this a lot lately because one of the things, if you have a cancer diagnosis, one of the first things I tell you to do is cut out sugar. So, how many grams are acceptable? Well, when I used to do the grocery store tour, one of the most hidden things that we would find sugar in was your marinara sauces, your ketchups, things like that. So always go, if you can find 4 and below, that's awesome. 6 below is acceptable. Anything over 6, absolutely avoid it. I know I use a lot of G Hughes in my kitchen. I love G Hughes. It's sugar free. And a lot of I'm using also Skinny Girl. I use a lot of Skinny Girl, especially the ones that are made with apple cider vinegar, because they're zero sugar and the base is apple cider vinegar. And we're going to get into the oils in a second. And I'm going to explain what is good and what is not good. Um, I'm just making sure. Hey Dee, I see you on there. You guys know my girl Dee in Mobile. She's always been into fitness, and I promised I was going to give her a shout out today if she joined us. She's teaching class and she's on with us. So I appreciate you all being on with me tonight. Okay, so reading food labels. So let's get into this, into the aisles. The front of the box is marketing, the back of the box is the truth. So here's the quick checklist. Serving size. Always check how many servings are in the container. That 6 grams of sugar that I was talking about might actually be 18 grams if you're eating the full portion. So see how many serving sizes are on there. Keep the sugar under 6 grams, like I talked about. That's ideally it's under 24 grams total per day for women, 36 grams for men. Less is better. Look, I always say that we should all live like we have stage 4 cancer. All right. So we want to make sure that we're avoiding sugar. So we do not want to be feeding cancer cells. So anytime that we can cut out sugar, especially the ones that are hidden, we need to cut them out. We want to watch out for hidden sugars such as cane juice, rice syrup, fructose, agave. Those are all hidden sugars that you're going to see in food labels. Ingredient list. I published a cookbook back in 14, and I try to always keep my ingredient list very short because again, who has time to cook something on a weeknight, especially that has 15 or more ingredients? And so it's kind of the same thing when you're looking at the back of food labels. Ingredient lists matter, and the shorter the better. Short is good, long is a red flag. First 3 ingredients are the most abundant. So if sugar, white flour, or oil is in the top 3, it's a no. Avoid anything that you cannot pronounce or you wouldn't cook with at home. Fiber and protein. Let's talk about this. Fiber slows down sugar spikes and it feeds your gut microbiome. Aim for 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day. And protein, it helps stabilize mood, metabolism, and muscle mass. I want you to look for at least 10 grams per servings in meals. I can tell you, like my diet, I try to get around 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal. So remember, look at your serving sizes to make sure that you're getting enough protein. Okay, this is a big one that I get asked a lot, oils. Everybody thinks that they're doing great. If you're cooking with olive oil, I need you to stop cooking with olive oil, especially if you have any heart issues, because cooking with olive oil at a high heat will turn into a bad fat, a trans fat. We do not want that. So if you are prone to heart disease or if you have lipoprotein A, we want to make sure that you're switching over to avocado oil. So the tier is avocado oil at a high heat tolerance And then you have coconut oil at a medium tolerance. So if you're cooking something 5 to 6 on the stove top, coconut oil is fine. And then something on low if you're cooking, or if you just want to drizzle it on, olive oil fits in there great. So I'm not telling you to stop using olive oil. I love olive oil. I like first pressed, cold, organic. I'm sorry. First pressed, organic, cold pressed olive oil. And always get organic on it. And then your avocado oil, the same. If you can find organic, that's great. And high heat tolerance avocado oil. Just remember, anything over 6 is high heat tolerance. Um, so watch for inflammatory oils, and remember when you're eating out, most restaurants serve the seed oils. So this is something that I have to be mindful of as well with my rheumatoid arthritis. I was just out eating lunch today and I get a salad and I'm not getting dressings anymore. I don't even ask for olive oil because I really don't trust it. I don't trust that they're not going to give me vegetable oil. So these oils are inflammatory. Canola, soybean, corn, and vegetable oil are all inflammatory oils we want to stay away from. So if you are out and you're not sure what the base is in the dressings, I would ask always. And then I would, if you're not sure and they're not sure, if the server's not sure and the chef doesn't come out and speak to you, ask for just olive oil and like a vinaigrette on the side. And I would say most restaurants, especially down here in the South, are not going to have avocado oil or coconut oil, probably for that matter, especially at a restaurant. But just remember to be mindful of that. I would rather, we already know that our protein is going to be probably cooked in a vegetable oil. It's just, it is what it is. So if we can avoid it on our salads or on our vegetables, that's what we want to do. And I just like I don't know why it took me so many years to realize that I don't need salad dressings on my salad. And I was just telling Jason this on Wednesday when we were over in was today Thursday? Yeah, yesterday when we were over in Mobile. I was like, I don't know why I didn't figure this out after all these years of fighting and struggling and always fighting inflammation every time we eat out. I just don't do any oils on my salad and just eat it raw. Add a little bit of sea salt if they have it. It makes it, it's great. Tastes awesome. So, pro tip on the oils. If the food has a commercial, don't buy it. Um, Common health traps. I'm going to call out a few here. Granola. Just got asked this week with a one of my patients. They are often marketed as healthy, but they are packed with sugar and oils. Just stay away from granola unless you're making it on your own, because I promise you they are going to have way more sugar. They're going to have a whole lot of what you don't need and very little of what you do need. They are not going to have the protein that you think that you're getting. Multigrain bread sounds better than it is. Unless it says 100% whole grain, it is mostly white flour. Also, if you're with me, if you're a patient of mine, I'm going to have you on gluten free. I feel like we all are super reactive, especially if we have gut issues. Mostly everyone comes to me with gut issues. So I like to go gluten free for at least the first 30 days. So try to find you a tasty gluten free bread that you don't, that you're going to use. And you could always try rice cakes as well in place of it. Protein bars are another trap. My brother, hi Chance, if you're listening, he got on a health regimen back in October this past year, and he's been doing really great at being mindful of what he's eating. And he was down here in Orange Beach working a couple months ago, and he was like, Cindy, I was starving, so I stopped at the gas station, and I was so happy they had protein bars. And he's telling me all about it. And I think it was a Metrics bar, maybe, that he had. And he starts telling me about it, and he's like, I felt so full after, and it was great. But it ended up having like 36 grams of carbs and like, I don't know, about the same grams of sugar. And he is a diabetic. And so he was like, I feel so defeated. I thought I was doing right. But that's what you're mostly going to get with these protein bars. So just remember that. Um, I would stay away from them. At, when I had Bodies by Cindy, I'm trying to think of the one that we had. I'll think of it. If you want to message me, there's a couple out there that are okay. There's one that's actually made with egg and dates that I would see like in airports, but I would make them yourself. I have tons of recipes, so if it's something that you're interested in, shoot me a message and I'm happy to share it with you. They're also in my cookbook as well. But yeah, just make them yourself because you're going to either get sugar alcohols and it's going to jack your stomach up and it's going to make you feel bloated and gassy and it is not worth it. And then just like my brother, he thought he was doing right and then he ended up, jacking up his blood sugars for the day. So if you have to wonder and guess, just avoid it. Just absolutely avoid it. And if you are looking for a snack and you have to stop at a gas station, they usually have hard-boiled eggs. I see them all the time. They're usually like by the fruit, like oranges and the apples. Most gas stations carry them these days, but they have hard-boiled eggs. So I would look for the hard-boiled eggs if I were you. And then another culprit would be fruit juices and smoothies. I know we want fast and convenient, but I would highly recommend doing them yourself to make sure that you know what goes into them. They are sugar culprits, okay? Whole fruit juice. When I make my smoothie, it's mostly greens, kale, spinach, blueberries, because the berries do not spike glucose levels and it has my flax seeds, my chia seeds, and we use a pea protein powder as well. And a lot of times, if you're out and about, and especially about people that have gut issues, I would stay away from whey protein and I would choose a pea protein, which is usually hard to find when you're out and about. So get it on your own and make them for yourself. Just think of food as medicine, and then you have to make this at home to nourish your body. For all my vegans out there or my gluten free, that does not mean healthy. When I was vegan, I'm not vegan anymore. Happy to share that on another live video, but I was vegan. It absolutely did not work for me. My body hated it. I was full of inflammation. I gained weight. I was swollen. It was awful for me. My joints were terrible. But when I was vegan, I was a very clean vegan. Also, I am gluten free. Just because it says gluten free doesn't mean you should have it because a lot of gluten free things out there have a lot of sugar in them. Oreos, for instance, they are gluten free and they're vegan. That doesn't mean they're healthy for us. So, a lot of my vegan people out there, I know you, and we've had discussions on this, and we were holding extra weight. And this is why, because they're marketed vegan and you think that you can have it, but they are riddled with sugar. So, let's stay away from it. Read food labels, go beyond the marketing. I remember we're going to go into the pantry in a second. I remember when I had my TV show, I think it was on probably Channel 15 at the time, and I did a surprised guest appearance at one of my clients' house. Joni Noletto, if you're listening out there, you were such a good sport. I'll never forget it. But I show up at her house with the TV crew and I do a pantry raid and it was awesome. And I could have swore that somebody had planted certain items in her pantry just for us to be able to discuss. But there were some things in there that she thought was healthy. And if you ever want me to come do a pantry raid, you just let me know. I'm always happy to shame you anytime. And if my husband sees you in the grocery store, he'll chase you down and look in your buggy. We've been known to do that as well. But let's go through it. Okay. So I'm going to share what I tell my patients to keep stocked at all times. Organic leafy greens, arugula, spinach, kale. Again, freeze them. It's okay, especially if you're going to put them in your smoothie. Cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. I eat these pretty much every night. I was just telling one of my cancer patients yesterday, I want you eating 3 to 5 cups a day, 3 to 5 cups of broccoli a day because of the sulforaphane in it, and that is the stems and the crowns. So try to get in as many as you absolutely can. I probably eat 2 to 3 cups with every meal. Onions, garlic, ginger, those are some other great ones to have on hand. Berries. We buy our berries frozen. It seems like the fresh go bad really fast, especially if they're not organic. But I always do try to find organic on these. So we buy the wild frozen berries. We get ours at Walmart, and we have bags of them. So they're not going to spike glucose. Any type of berries, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries won't spike glucose. Also, avocados. Avocados are a great fat. I personally don't eat avocados because I try to keep my inflammation down at every chance that I get, right? So the avocados are one of the highest histamine foods that you can eat. So if you are having issues with inflammation, I would probably cut out some of the highest histamine foods for a while to see if you can calm your inflammation down. In your fridge, unsweetened nut milks. We make our own coconut milk. Happy to share how we do that. We buy an organic can with no gum in it and have a half gallon mason jar with a spout that we bought on it. And we literally put the can in, fill the rest of it with filtered water, and we make our own. That way, we're not getting any additives, and they're wonderful. Love them. Uh, if you're vegan, tofu is great to keep on hand as well. Hummus, fermented foods, sauerkraut, kimchi, miso, chia, and flax seeds. I put all of mine in glass jars just so there's not a mold exposure. So just remember that. If you're putting them, I like everything out of plastic anyway. So I take them as soon as I buy them, and I have a ton of mason jars. I bought a case of them, the canning jars, and I just put all my seeds in there, and I put my seeds in the refrigerator. So they don't go bad, they stay in there, and they're not moldy. In the pantry, quinoa, lentils, black beans, raw nuts and seeds you can keep in the pantry as well. Again, I like mine in the refrigerator just to make sure they don't mold. Rolled oats, all of ours are gluten free. We keep our coconut oil or avocado oil. And again, if you know me, you know how much I love apple cider vinegar. So we have lots of bottles of apple cider vinegar with Mother in the pantry. Spices like turmeric, cinnamon, cumin, and then always buy nut butters that are just the nut and maybe a little bit of sea salt. No added oils or sugar. Sunflower butter is fine as long as it's clean. I just had one of my patients ask me about that this week. As long as it's clean, no additives. And someone asked me about peanut butter. I tell everyone to stay away from peanut butter. Again, I don't feel like it's a good clean fat, and usually there's a lot of added sugars in it as well. So your almonds, your cashew, all those nut butters are absolutely fine. And then some tips for shopping. Shop the rainbow. Eat food in its whole form. Avoid the middle aisles when possible. Shop with a meal plan, and then batch prep once you're home. So, like for me, I've been really busy. I know a lot of you know that I have a really dear friend of mine in the hospital right now. So, I've been traveling back and forth to Mobile, not a lot of time to cook. So, I cooked up a lot of chicken breast the other day, cooked up a lot of broccoli, and I just put it in Tupperware containers and eggs as well. And I'm just eating on the go, and it just makes life really simple. And I'm not tempted to grab something on the go or grab something that I'm not really sure what's in it and it's going to cause me issues. Again, I don't ever deviate from my diet because it causes me too much pain and it's not worth it. So if you're dealing with chronic inflammation or chronic illness or a cancer diagnosis, don't deviate from that meal plan. It is absolutely not worth it. So if you're managing cancer, autoimmune, blood sugar, weight loss, or inflammation, food is your daily prescription. This is how we create cellular safety through food. Okay. I have a few questions that came through this week and I want to go over them. And if you have a question, again, feel free. I'm trying to keep up. What if you make your own peanut butter? Yes, Jamie, I'm fine with that. If you can make your own peanut butter, do it. That way you can control how much, if you put sugar or no sugar or whatever, you can control it all. Again, I would just do the nut and a little bit of sea salt if I were you. That's how I would make mine. And I know what is it? Fresh Market in Mobile, they used to have their own, you could go in and like make your own almond butter, and that's all it was. It was just the nut with a little bit of sea salt, and it was perfect. Just looking to make sure I'm not missing any questions. Okay, so here's some questions that came through over the past couple of days. Is organic really worth the money? Great question. It's not always worth the money, especially if you're buying from the Clean 15 list that I mentioned earlier. But foods are on the Dirty Dozen, absolutely yes. It's an investment in your cellular health and cancer prevention. So I'm going to give them a shout out, Misfits Market. I absolutely love them. If do you know Misfits Market? You can say yes or no in the chat. Misfits Market, I can give you the link to them and it gives you a discount as well. But they're great. They get shipped to my house every Wednesday. All my organics, and it's called Misfits, is because they're not always pretty when they come to me, but I've never had an issue, and their customer service is awesome. I get my eggs through them and all of my vegetables as well. Amanda, yes, you should order through them. They are great. I save money and I get all my organics because man, like living at the beach, we don't have a lot of options. We have Publix and we have Walmart and we have Rouse's, and that's pretty much it. And there is a farmer's market over in Foley, but we just don't have a lot of options when it comes to organic. Usually you're going to find a very small section in the grocery store, and it's just not going to be a lot of options. So check out Misfits. I love them. I've been with them probably for a year now. And it comes every Wednesday. I get my butter lettuce, zucchini, berries. I mean, they have everything. Even our coconut milk comes through them. And they have almond butter, and it's super clean. Okay, I will definitely leave the link in after the live is over. Okay. This live will be on my YouTube recorded, and it will be on Facebook as well when we are done. So you'll be able to chat with me. And then feel free to email me, Cindy at drcindyross.com. Okay, next question. What's the number one ingredient I should always avoid? Sugar. Always sugar. Sugar, sugar, sugar. It hides under 50 different names, okay? Cane juice, rice syrup, high fructose syrup, sugar fuels inflammation and it feeds cancer cells. My rule is aim for less than 6 grams per serving and ditch anything where sugar is in the top three ingredients. I just had a question that came through. Let's see. This is great if you're, yes, especially if you're immunocompromised, avoid sugar. I'm like, I take a drug called rapamycin as well. It's anti-cellular aging, but it does actually reduce my white blood cell count because it is known it was to block my mTOR pathway so my interleukin 6 wasn't elevated. So I'm a little bit immunosuppressed as well, especially having rheumatoid arthritis. And so, yeah, this is the reason that I make sure that I fuel my body correctly. Okay, next question. What if I cannot afford all organic? So this is where Misfits comes in for sure because it does get expensive. It gets really expensive. And especially if you're not using it all up and it's going to waste, do not ever waste money. All right. So prioritize organics for the thin-skinned produce like berries, spinach, and apples. I'll always make sure I get organics on those. Wash everything really well and buy frozen organic if it's cheaper. Also, shop at your local farmers markets where it's often pesticide free, even if it's not certified organic. Next question. I'm vegan, gluten free. Am I automatically eating healthy? No, not at all. Remember, the marketing strategy, it is so misleading. Plenty of vegan and gluten free products are ultra processed. I think they're even more processed, actually. A clean label, minimal ingredients, and a whole food base are all still key. Oreos are vegan, doesn't make them healthy. What oils should I avoid and why? We talked about this. Thank you guys. Um, Avoid vegetable oil, soybean oil, corn, and canola oils. They're highly processed, oxidize easily, and they trigger inflammation. Opt for avocado oil, olive oil, or coconut oil instead. They're much more stable and supportive for your cellular health. Okay. And then also remember this, when you're eating out, be mindful that everything contains, if you're just tuning in, they usually contain seed oils, everything that they are cooking in. So be mindful of that when you're choosing your entrees and your salads. Next question, do I really need to read every food label? Yes, I would say if you're just doing, I mean, when I would go through the grocery store tour, I would literally lead people around the grocery store quite often. Like once a month, we would do it. And I would tell them the first time that they were on their own, I would always take about an hour and a half the next time that they grocery shop just to read food labels. Once you get them down, you got it. But when you're just starting out and you don't really know what to look for, I would allow yourself some time. Eat a snack before you go. Don't go hungry. So at first, yes, it's like learning a new language. A lot of my patients, they've never read food labels in their life, and they just really go by the marketing on the package. So it's like looking at it for the first time. Once you get the hang of it, you'll start spotting the red flags in seconds. And over time, you'll build a list of your go-to clean brands, and it becomes second nature. How do I shop healthy on a budget? Stick to whole foods, beans, lentils, oats, frozen vegetables, bulk grains. They're always budget friendly and they're nutrient dense. Avoid convenience, packaged foods. That's all I grew up on. I always say to my brother, I'm really shocked that we're still alive because my mother, God rest her soul, everything that we ate came off the end cap, and it was the era that the moms didn't have a lot of time and they were starting to work, and we just were fed this ultra processed food that was super fast to cook. And that's all I knew. I think pretty much all I knew was pasta until I was 11 years old. So just remember, the convenience packaged foods, they are loaded with things that you do not want to put in your body. And they usually cost more too, and they're less nutritious. So if you are, I have a whole brand new platform, and I'll talk about it again at the end. But it's my community platform. I'm charging $14.99 a month. You can subscribe to me. I'm putting meal plans out there. I'm putting protocols out there. It's all exclusive content, but a lot of the meal plans that I'm putting out there, they're specific for inflammation or gut issues or cancer. So I can assure you that there will be one that fits your needs on there that will help and guide you throughout this nutrition path. So just let me know if you have any questions. You can go to my website. It says VIP membership on the tab, and you can click up. I think it gives you 3 days free trial as well, so you can check it out. There's a lot of information on there. Plus, you get to chat with everybody else. What's your favorite healthy fast food from the grocery store? Hmm. I love pre-chopped veggies. I would add in a hummus as well, green juice with no fruit, or a quinoa salad from the deli. Check the label. Frozen steamable vegetables are also an option. You could add in some tahini or avocado. That way you're getting your good fats in, keeping your HDL up, because a cancer pattern is a low vitamin D and a low HDL. That low HDL it's everything. It's your cognitive function. It's where hormones are made. If you got any brain fog going on, I can guarantee your HDL is low. So we need to make sure to keep that HDL nice and high, nice and healthy. Eat your avocados if histamine is not an issue for you. Is fruit bad because it has sugar? Not at all. Fruit sugar is paired with fiber, vitamins, and antioxidants. It's processed sugars that we want to avoid. That said, I tell my cancer patients to stick to the low glycemic fruits like berries and apples, kiwi, and citrus, especially berries. I really like berries, if you cannot tell. Berries do not raise your glucose. Last question that came through, what about cooking with butter? Yeah, I'm good with it. Clarified butter is what I would choose, or like ghee, something like that would be great. I have ghee in my pantry, and we do use that a lot. If you've never used it. All right, last question. Here, feel free to ask them on the feed though. What are the three things that everyone should have in their cart every week? Dark leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, or cabbage, and clean protein sources. Eggs, your grass-fed beef, chicken, no antibiotics, no hormones, and fish. I love fish and shellfish as well. Like so I love shrimp. You can find make sure that whatever fish that you find at the store is wild caught. Always, you do not want farm raised. And remember too this when you're eating at a restaurant, more than likely it's going to be farm raised. So just be mindful of that. I mean, sometimes I do have to eat it if we're out and about, but I don't eat out that often either. Just remember this is the anti-cancer trifecta, bonus points for garlic, berries, and flax seeds as well. And gentlemen out there, if you're having any prostate issues, especially on voiding or swollen prostate, add in some ground flaxseed. Ground flaxseed is amazing for that. Okay, so tree nut allergies, any suggestions on alternatives? You could try, some of my tree nut allergies don't have any issues with sunflower butter, so you could try that. Or just switch over to avocado, instead of doing any of the alternatives. That way you're safe. Because a lot of times on the labels it'll say it's made in a factory with nuts, so just to be on the safe side, I'd probably switch over or make your own hummus with tahini, if that helps. Okay. Um, So if you have any questions like on what I buy each week or what I avoid, I'm happy to answer those out. Or swaps. Swaps are great. If you have questions on that, shoot them over to me in an email. And I teach this all the time. And then, if there's enough interest, if you guys ever want to do a grocery store tour, I'm happy, like an in-person one, especially around here. I know a lot of you are all over the world, but if you're around the Gulf Coast and you want to do a grocery store tour, the grocery stores always let me come in and do one. So I'm always happy to put one on. It's been a hot minute since I've done one, so it would be fun to get back out there and meet all of you in person. So, whether you're in remission or in treatment or you're just being proactive, this knowledge is going to help transform your health. Again, I'm going to reiterate this. If you're not part of my Wellness Warriors, I have two different sections of my platform. So I have Wellness Warriors just for everybody in just, general health that's looking for prevention. And then I also have my Healing Circle for my oncology patients. And I'm publishing research papers. A lot of stuff that I don't do on social media is going in there as well. So you got to check it out. It's good. Even if you just want to try to do the trial for 3 days, I'm good with that as well. We dig deep every week, and it's definitely where transformation happens. And if you want me to really dial in to you specifically, I have quite a few different plans for that, and we can get labs ordered and go from there. If you have any questions, remember to email me, Cindy at drcindyross.com. And just remember, the food that you buy shapes your biology, and every time that you shop, you're choosing what your cells will become. I just want to say thank you for being here. It was always a pleasure to see you, and I will see you next time. I'm going to probably go live on Wednesday. I don't know. I've had a really good turnout. So if Thursday works better for you, I'm open. I would love your feedback if you have a topic that you want me to talk about as well. I'm happy to do so. But thanks to all my TikTok people. Love having you on. And thanks to everybody on Facebook and YouTube. I appreciate you all. Hope you have a great night.